want to wash my clothes, very sweaty and get color. I want to bleach. So I go to a supermarket to buy bleach. I lecture and say, what is bleach going on? And I see, wow, burning. No, that's not bleach for clothes. That's bleach for flow.
Yeah, that's for like killing all bacteria on like in your bathroom bleach. Wow, I'm glad you didn't like pour that on your hands or something. Amazing, amazing. Hi everyone, welcome to the show today. My name is John Drummond or Yang Holland.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天的来宾是台湾科技业的商业开发业务，同时是一位非常了不起的顾问。他目前专注在 AI 人工智慧的领域。我们接下来欢迎 Ray。What's
up, everyone? Welcome to the NG England show. I'm joined today by an incredible human working so hard here in the tech scene in Taiwan and really around the world. He is a business development specialist. He is an incredible advisor. He's focusing now on artificial intelligence, which is near and dear to my heart. He is a lifelong learner and so much more. So everyone, please welcome Ray.
Hey, thank you, John, to introduce me.
Yeah, Ray, it's so cool. We got to meet through an artificial intelligence chat group online.
Yes.
And we just started talking, and I remember the first conversation that we had together. You were like, John, listen, if I'm going to come on to the NG England show, I need you to tell me something. And I was like, okay, what, Ray? And you were like, how do you think English learning is in Taiwan? And I was like, oh, there's some flaws, there's some things we need to work on. And you were like, okay, I can come on your show. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I love that. You were speaking to my heart and being very honest with me, and I love these things.
Yeah, we have very common opinion on English learning. And since my background, I grew up living in Taiwan. And then I started my master in New York State and work in Silicon Valley. And then moved back. Okay, so I kind of a different culture and working environment. So I've had some experience in my personal belief on English learning.
Yeah, that's right. So today I was thinking we could focus a little bit on your work, but also kind of these English AI study groups that you are hosting and working so much on here in Taiwan. Could you share a little bit about that?
I graduated from the National Tsinghua University in Hsinchu. My major is EE. At the moment, not really very booming like today in Taiwan. Science Park just built up, and there's some PhD back from American to set up the high-tech company, and TSMC not even there yet.
Wow.
Okay,
right.
So I moved back to Taipei and worked for Acer, and then I went to American to get my master's degree in Syracuse University, and then I just try to stay in Silicon Valley. You know, that's heaven for high tech. Then after 10 years, maybe more than 10 years, okay, I moved back. And then I moved to the AI the last 4 years, okay. And the first study group I got from Facebook. And somebody initiated the group, and we followed the course from Stanford.
So when you were taking this online course with this study group, were you guys focusing on just coming together to solve problems, or what was actually the purpose of the study group?
Study group, most important, is group together and companion and persistent. Then also is proactive learning. So most of the time, and I think both sides, we sit there and listen to the professor. I call it the passive learning.
Right.
But for a study group, you have to present in term, okay? So you prepare and you digest and use your word, and you prepare your PowerPoint and go up and use your word to speak, okay? I call it proactive learning. And that's very useful, efficient than passive learning.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and we'll apply that to our English topic a little bit later, but I think right now you're saying that so well. So kind of to summarize, correct me if I'm wrong, you're listening to the professor talk to you about new topics, introducing new learning to you, but then with the study group, you guys are trying to summarize and put into your own words this type of learning and then speak it out and make sure that everyone else understands that too.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's your proactive learning, right?
And also, you do some research and you collect a lot of reference, okay? And because like at Stanford, we look at the YouTube, okay? But sometimes too fast. Sometimes they don't have enough time, like limit time. But for study group, we have a triple time of that. If 1 hour video, we probably have 3. Sometimes in the beginning, actually, we have 1 day, whole day. Okay, so for me, okay, I will get a lot of reference and put together for the same subject. So it's more detailed. It's where to come and where to go.
Yeah, and I think that's so great. And kind of compiling all that information and spending that much time together really gets you to think about it in different ways.
And also the philosophy behind. So in the end of AI, I would like to use the word philosophy. Abstract thinking. It's not only like you asked earlier, so what kind of problem you solve, okay? But you don't have philosophy. You know, a lot advanced algorithm happened in the last couple of years. And if you don't understand the philosophy, you will get lost. You try to remember the modeling, you try to remember the network, and you just pick up the piece of other people's learning result, but you don't understand the philosophy, you easy to miss some other good stuff.
Yeah, so that's so well said. So kind of that abstract thinking, being able to think of the philosophical reasons why an algorithm was created to solve a problem.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And that's really like that fundamental thinking. That's that first principles thinking. And it sort of relates to our earlier conversation about English learning.
John 跟 Ray 是透过网络上的 AI 聊天室认识的。那 Ray 的生长背景大部分是在台湾，他是考硕士那一年才去了纽约，并且在矽谷 Silicon Valley 工作。那后来他回台湾时，也因此在工作环境中遇到了一些文化差异 （cultural differences）。其实我蛮能理解文化差异这一块的，毕竟我是在新加坡出生，然后后来去了加拿大，又回来台湾读台湾的学校，又读了美国的学校，然后后来又去读了台湾大学。所以其实我应该算是文化错乱吧。那其实这种的不适应，我觉得是需要点时间去习惯的。那刚来宾有说，他毕业于清华大学的 Double E 科系。那 Double E 其实就是 Electrical Engineering 电机工程学系。那当时在台湾其实不算流行。那他从新竹毕业之后，他就搬回了台北，去了宏基上班。那接着他去了美国读硕士，也顺利在矽谷工作超过10年。那他是在近4年回到台湾，并且开始接触 AI。那他一开始是去找一个读书会 Study Group， 并且一起上了线上课程。那他跟读书会一起学习的主要目的，就是为了要坚持 persist 跟有陪伴 companionship。那他们读书会的形式比较像是上课之后需要消化 process 这些资料，并且概述 summarize 后用报告的方式让其他人理解。那他觉得这是一个非常有用 useful 跟有效率 efficient 的学习方式。那他们也需要做一些研究 research 跟收集一些参考 reference。那他认为其实要用抽象思维 abstract thinking， 也就是所谓的逻辑思维 logical thinking， 去理解每一个演算法为什么会被创造，跟他们存在的目的是为了解决什么样的问题。
So are you applying this type of philosophical learning with English now to AI?
Yes, of course, very important. For the journey of my English learning, actually, in the early age, we are kind of try to pass examination, so you kind of memorize. That's not help. Actually, only I got interested about English as before I went to America and I prepared my TOEFL, GIE, the moment we call TOEFL. And then you stack up and you build up. So there's a book called Word Building, English Word Building. Okay, so anything you build up from the very simple, okay? My vocabulary is very few. I don't encourage you don't memorize vocabulary, but I say I have very few words, but I can explain myself very well.
You're talking a little bit there, I think, about kind of that concept of rote memorization, like trying to memorize terms and remember formulas, the way we kind of try to study math and science sometimes from a test-taking standpoint. And it's not great for language, as you're saying, because it doesn't, and it's also maybe not great for studying AI,
Yes.
because you're not getting the philosophy. You're not getting
Yes.
the deep reasoning and the foundation.
That's what I'm getting into, okay? So bring up the AI and English together, okay? So I see a lot weakness for the member of study group, and they insist to translate to Chinese. I get lost.
All the research papers and all the lectures, is that right?
Yeah. And they get lost eventually, and I get lost too, okay? But when I present later on reinforcement learning and inverse reinforcement learning, kind of getting harder and harder, deeper and deeper, and they will get lost because they only use one word. Actually, one word represents many papers. You from definition, mathematics, formula, to physical data meaning.
Right.
The last come to the algorithm and coding. So people always ask, do you coding? But coding is important. But if you don't know the philosophy for the advanced technique like inverse reinforcement learning, they can do a lot advanced behavior or action. When you read the paper, I'm sure you cannot understand at all. The point is build up like a building block. Okay,
Legos.
The research paper is the build up or stack up. Okay,
Right.
They are one idea built up upon the other idea. They are not from the ground zero. So sometimes if we start in one paper, you don't understand, we go back the reference to see the previous one. So that's the reverse way.
Got it.
The forward way, you build up the building block, and one by one, then you see the idea, how you solve the problem, and how you make action. Okay?
Yeah.
But the other way, reverse, if you want to understand, you have reverse way, you can't see the previous reference paper.
That's great. Yeah. And we might say in English right there, like reverse engineering, you know, and you're using that almost in the concept with your English. You're saying, hey, friends, like my study group, hey, let's not use Chinese because when we need to go back and look at those old reference papers, they're going to be in English.
Yeah.
And so the more you guys are studying in English and reading papers in English, the easier it might be to go back and look at those other papers and how to think in that way and how to talk to each other in those concepts.
Yes.
Use the language. Yeah, so you need to be taking in all of that in English, researching it in English, and then you created the way to present to each other in English. Is that right?
Yeah.
You're getting the full spectrum of language right there, right? You're getting the input, you're getting the reinforcement, and then you're getting it through your output.
Yeah, and for learning English, can I say something?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so I'm kind of object to the convention, the tutorial book, kind of teach you how you remember the vocabulary.
This was our first conversation.
Yes.
On the phone, and you were like,
yeah, I have to address.
Yeah, you were like, listen, do you like to use these grammar books and try to memorize it? And I was like, no, I don't believe in that. And you're like,
No.
okay.
Yeah, I don't believe that. That will block your brain and damage your network. Okay, and because English, you have to go straight and speak. Because the way they express is very straightforward. And if you go to your brain and you convert, you kind of delay your thinking and you kind of block the way you're learning English. That's totally not recommended.
Yeah, so what's some better ways you recommend? Taking your AI study group, for example, what do you recommend to people here on NG Ingwen that might be a more efficient way to learn?
Like I said earlier, build up, okay? You stack up. You learn the very simple word first. And you use the word to speak and to learn the next complicated vocabulary.
Yeah, so using that new vocabulary that you learn to almost learn the new rules using the language and then be able to apply. And it's just like mathematics that way. You think about basic arithmetic. 1 plus 1, and then you can do 1 times 1, and then you can stack, and then you're doing algebra, and then trigonometry, and then...
Yeah, that's correct.
But if you don't understand how to do 1 plus 1, you can't do any of that.
Most important, you will make English learning very easy and very interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's great advice, and something we stress on this show too is trying to figure out better ways to learn.
在来宾早期的英文学习过程当中，其实大部分为了考试的关系，所以他会去背 memorize 很多英文，但他觉得其实并没有帮助，是一直到他要考硕士的时候，为了准备 GRE 才开始对英文感到兴趣。那跟大家科普一下， GRE 就是硕士以上需要的入学考试，等同于考大学的时候需要的 SAT。 那如果以台湾体制的话，就是指考跟联考。那其实来宾有意识到他并没有太多的英文词汇，但他也不是鼓励大家不用去背单字，而是想要表达他就算没有很多单字可以用，也可以很清楚地表达自己。那就像 John 说的，他认为 AI 跟学习语言是一样的，需要去理解它背后的含义。那像 Ray 的读书会当中，有一些人会想要把资料翻成中文，但因为他们不懂它背后的含义，所以如果日后他们回去看的时候会非常的困惑。那像 John 说的， Ray 其实是在用 reverse engineering 反向工程或是逆向工程的方式去学习英文。其实这种方式就是用回推的去理解它背后的原因。那来宾认为他很不喜欢那种背文法背单字的那一套，所以他认识 John 的时候就有问他对于这件事情的看法。那 Ray 给大家的建议就是要先学一些基本的，再慢慢的堆叠 stack， 然后去学一些比较难的东西。有一点像是在学数学，我们会先学1+1，那我们之后可能会理解什么是1乘以1，到最后我们可能学一些什么代数 algebra 之类的。我们的频道其实一直很鼓励我们找到更好的学习方式。那其实像我最常听到的学习方式，而且最有效的就是如果你想要学哪个语言，那去找会说这个语言的人交往，或是约会，或是当个朋友吧。
So thinking kind of about your English learning journey, you've now been living and studying in the US, you've worked now in tech companies all over. Do you remember any kind of fun stories with English throughout your years?
Yeah, of course. In the beginning, John said, "What's up?" I think the first story I want to tell is "What's up?"
What's up?
What's up? Then people say "blue sky."
Yes, that's a good one to learn, actually. Yeah, like if you take it literally, what is up? It's like, oh, right now the roof, the sky.
And when first day I visited my school, I went to the international student office, and we have undergraduate teacher for the foreign practice. The first thing he tell me is, she teach me is catch up. I said, what? Catch up? I want to catch up what? Fish. No, catch up is
the sauce, the tomato sauce, right?
That's it. Yeah, and the third thing I want to talk is about bleach. I want to wash my clothes, and I always very sweaty and get color, and I want to bleach. Okay, so I go to supermarket to buy bleach.
Bleach,
Oh, terrible! It burned my clothes. I say, what? I asked my English lecturer and say, what is bleach going on? He said, no, that's not bleach for clothes. That's bleach for flow.
Yeah, that's for like killing all bacteria on like in your bathroom bleach.
Yes.
Yeah, you were looking
it's
for
not clothes bleach.
Not safe bleach for your clothing. Oh wow, yeah. Wow, I'm glad you didn't like pour that on your hands or something.
No, I put. Yeah, I'm glad I not put on my hand. I put on my clothes, and I see, wow, burning.
Probably took the color all out of it, right?
I'm just surprised. I smell it bad, like some sauce.
Like it's like burning almost.
Yeah, almost burning. So I kind of back off.
Amazing. I bet you have plenty of those stories along the way. Very cool. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
那刚刚 John 问 Ray 说有没有因为语言的隔阂而造成误会或是乌龙的事件。那 Ray 分享的第一个故事就是 What's up？ 这个在国外是很常听到的打招呼方式，就是你最近好吗之类的。但其实如果你直接翻的话呢，它是 What is up？ 就是什么在上面，所以当时他就回说蓝天啊、屋顶啊之类的。那还有一次他是去参访学校的时候，老师在教他什么是番茄酱 ketchup， 那他听成了 catch up， 所以呢因为 catch up 是抓住或是更新的意思，所以就因为这样子搞了乌龙。那其实 catch up 是蛮常在生活中听到的，就可能会说 catch up with you later， 就是我们晚点再聊，或是 let's catch up， 就是我们来聊一聊近况。那他另一个故事呢，我觉得比较可怕一点，就是他去买洗衣服的漂白水 bleach， 但因为其实有分清洁地板的漂白水跟衣物漂白水，所以他在购买的时候就买错了。那还好他没有弄到手，因为他倒在衣服上面的时候就发现怎么衣服烧破洞了。
What do you see in terms of your predictions for where AI can go? Do you see any trends emerging?
Yes, of course. There's one branch out of AI, but they reside in psychology department. There's one guy in NYU, Gary Marcos, and they call it neurosymbolic. But also recently I met a Stanford professor. Right now he moved from San Diego to Stanford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all in the Department of Psychology, not AI, but they work with computer science professor.
I see that, yeah.
So that will be two-part. Neural network and symbolic will combine together. And if you follow up the Gary, he always argue with Google, but he always right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the new trend AI will be the natural intelligence. We learn from nature, from biological. Okay.
Yeah.
So how you your gene and how you grow and how you optimize. Those I call it nature intelligence, but actually they learn from the biology.
I love it. Yeah. So applying the way we biologically grow and learn new things as a child, trying to figure out how to now write algorithms.
Yes. Electrically learn from child, so they call it recognition. Learning.
And you know, what I studied in school was early childhood development psychology, and that's why I've become so fascinated with AI, because I feel that's where we're going right now.
Yeah, they come together actually.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm like, ooh, maybe I should do something in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's fascinating, because the analogy I use is, you know, when we think about flying, like airplanes and stuff, we had to understand aerodynamics through watching birds, watching nature. And now we are now trying to watch children and our brains develop in this early stage to build better neural networks, to now have better models and algorithms to solve better problems and learn, as you called it. I love that. Natural
intelligence.
Natural intelligence, not artificial.
Actually, you know what? When you talk about the airplane, at the moment, the
Wright brothers,
the Wright brother, when they discovered that, they have two branches. One is more close to birds. One is simple way like Wright brother, but actually, the brother is succeed. The other way is not succeed.
Right. The flapping the wings did not succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's very strange. Right now, they get back to thinking about that way. You know, I think the similar happen in AI too.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. That's my hypothesis as well. I wonder right now, because we're thinking about neural networks as like a neural connection in your brain. But I'm like, I wonder if we're going to actually try to think about a new way to think about this.
Yes.
And I feel that's where the research is going now.
Ray 对于 AI 的趋势看法，就是其实会有一部分是跟心理学结合的，但主要是以 natural intelligence 自然智能为主。那其实自然智能就是他们会研究，比如说为什么我们会做梦，或是我们是如何生长等等的自然反应，再把这些东西写成程式。那我觉得 John 的比喻方式很清楚地说明了自然智能这个东西，就像是我们在制造飞机之前，其实必须学会空气动力学 aerodynamics。那我们其实一开始是透过观察鸟的飞行方式，再把这个道理应用在飞机上。
Awesome, Ray. Well, I think you and I could talk about this now forever. But
Yeah.
I, I was hoping we could kind of end the show with, if you could go back and talk to a younger Ray, would there be any advice you give yourself about English learning, artificial intelligence, anything?
Wow, that's very emotional. I would tell my younger Ray, say, go pursue your dream. Don't be afraid or don't be blocked by any reality.
Don't be blocked by any reality. Go for your dreams. It's beautiful. That's very deep. I love it. Very applicable.
他会给年轻的自己的建议就是去追寻你的梦想，并且别被现实 reality 阻挡或因此而害怕哦。那我们就谢谢今天的来宾 Ray。
Awesome, Ray. Well, where could people reach out to you? Maybe if they have any questions about artificial intelligence or English learning or anything like that.
Okay. My email is raykuo88@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Yeah, so feel free to reach out to Ray if you have any questions about English learning, about artificial intelligence, about anything tech related. He is an interesting man. Thank you for joining us on the show, my friend. It's great to hear your journey, and we will talk to you next time.
Okay, thank you, John, to invite me here. I very enjoyed talking.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.